Have you ever walked into a gathering, friends hanging out, or a meeting at work, and felt like you were literally invisible? You speak and no one listens. You crack a joke and no one laughs. And when you're gone, no one even asks about you. You feel like you're doing everything right. You're kind, respectful, never step on anyone's toes. You even sacrifice your own comfort just to keep others happy. But in the end, you get nothing back. Your presence feels weak. Your rights are always overlooked, and people treat you like you're guaranteed, like there's nothing to worry about when it comes to you. If this sounds familiar, then the problem isn't your luck, and it's not that people are just bad. The uncomfortable truth? The problem might be you. There are certain daily habits, things we do with good intentions, out of kindness or loyalty, that slowly erase our dignity and weaken our presence in front of others, without us even realizing it. These behaviors send a silent green light to people, telling them it's okay to undervalue you, to treat you like you're second class. Before we go any further, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything new, and drop a like so the algorithm knows this content deserves to be seen. Now, grab your coffee and focus with me on every word I'm about to say. The first and most dangerous habit that destroys your presence and makes you look weak is being a walking apology machine. Someone steps on your foot in the subway and you say, "Sorry." The waiter brings your order wrong or cold, and you go, "It's okay, I'm sorry, could you maybe fix it?" You ask your boss something that's literally part of your job, and you start with, "Sorry to bother you." Why are you apologizing? For what, exactly? What are you so afraid of? Psychology tells us that people who apologize excessively, without real reason, are often avoiding confrontation. Deep down, they carry this rooted feeling that they are a burden on others, as if they're apologizing for simply breathing the same air. Sorry is not a cheap word. It's heavy. It has value. When used at the right time, when you've actually made a mistake, it elevates you and shows maturity. But when it becomes filler, something you say with every move, every breath, you're sending a message directly to the subconscious mind of the person in front of you that you're less.
When you over-apologize, what you're really saying is, "I'm weak, I have no value, my presence is a burden, and I'm always the one at fault." And human nature doesn't respect that. People instinctively lose respect for someone who apologizes just for existing. They start to see you as an easy target, someone they can blame, use, or step over, even when it's not your fault. From today on, save sorry for real mistakes. If you're late because of traffic, don't walk in with your head down saying, "I'm so sorry I kept you waiting." Instead, stand tall and say, "Thank you for your patience. I really appreciate you waiting." You just flip the situation in your favor. You acknowledge them without lowering yourself. The second habit is what I call the overly nice syndrome, the people-pleaser mindset. That person who simply can't say no to anyone at any time. You come home exhausted from work, barely able to stand. Then a friend calls you to go out for something completely unnecessary, and you go, just so they won't be upset. Your manager dumps someone else's workload on you, and you stay up all night doing it just to look like the perfect employee. And the result? You become a doormat for everyone around you. Your energy drains, your health suffers, and no one even appreciates it. Let me tell you a harsh truth. You might not like it. What is always available is rarely valued. Supply and demand doesn't just apply to markets, it applies to human relationships too. When you're always saying yes, always available, always sacrificing your time, money, and comfort for others, people won't build you a statue in the square. They'll see you as guaranteed, as something free. And no one truly respects something that comes without boundaries. Every time you say yes to others at your own expense, you're actually saying no to yourself, to your peace, your dignity, and your self-respect. No is a muscle. You need to train it daily. No, I can't go out today. I need to recharge. No, I can't lend you that money. I have commitments. No, I won't do this task. It's simply not mine. The moment you start setting boundaries and people realize that no exists in your vocabulary, you'll start seeing a new look in their eyes, a mix of respect and caution, because now they know your time and energy are valuable to you. The third mistake that completely destroys your image and makes you look insignificant is oversharing, being too much of an open book. You sit with someone you've known for 30 minutes on a bus or at a cafe, and suddenly you've told them your entire life story, your struggles, your problems with your spouse, your financial issues, who betrayed you, who scammed you. You think you're building a strong connection quickly, or that you're being honest and transparent, but in reality, you come across as naive, impulsive, someone who lacks control over their own words and desperate for validation. Mystery is a core part of attraction and an essential part of dignity and presence. When you reveal all your secrets, flaws, and personal details too easily, you make it easy for people to judge you, to underestimate you, and even use that information against you later. Social media made this even worse. There's barely any privacy left. Every detail of your day becomes a story. Every argument becomes a vague post. This doesn't attract sympathy, it attracts ridicule. Keep a large part of your life to yourself. Not everyone needs to know what you're thinking, what you're going through, or what you're planning next. When people feel like there's more to you, like you're not fully accessible, it creates respect and curiosity. But when you lay all your cards on the table from the very beginning, the game ends quickly, and you become predictable, boring, and exposed. Now let's talk about the fourth habit, the one that completely destroys your dignity at its roots: emotional clinginess and chasing people who clearly pull away from you. You send a message on WhatsApp, they read it, 2 blue ticks, and no reply. So you send another, and another. Hey, why aren't you replying? Someone who used to be close to you suddenly starts pulling away.
They start treating you coldly, slowly pulling away, and instead of walking away with dignity, you start chasing them. Did I do something wrong? Are you upset with me? Just tell me what I did. And when they finally decide to leave your life, you hold on tighter, as if your entire survival depends on them staying. But listen carefully, this is important. The biggest humiliation you can ever put yourself through is trying to convince someone that they need you, or begging them to stay and love you. Human relationships are like a tennis game. One hit from you, one hit from them. One step forward, one step back. But if you're the only one running across the whole court, chasing the ball alone, hitting it back to yourself over and over, you're not playing a game. You're humiliating yourself. A person who chases someone who doesn't want them looks desperate, emotionally empty, and dependent. And instead of bringing them closer, it pushes them further away. They start seeing you as heavy, clingy, unnecessary. Your dignity should always be more valuable than any relationship, more valuable than any person. If someone chooses to walk away, open the door fully for them, wish them well, and close it behind them with peace. Because silence, detachment, and calm withdrawal are the strongest responses you can ever give. They preserve your dignity and send one clear message: you don't stand on anyone, and someone's absence doesn't shake your existence. The fifth behavior that destroys your image and makes you look weak and insignificant is allowing people to disrespect you under the excuse of just joking. You're sitting with your friends in a group, and one of them decides to be the funny one. They throw a cheap joke at you, mock your clothes, your appearance, your speech, your salary. And when they see your face change, they say, "Relax, man, we're just joking. Don't be so sensitive. Lighten up." And the worst part, you might force yourself to laugh with them, just to avoid looking boring or ruining the mood. But inside, you're boiling. You feel disrespected, and you swallow it. Listen closely. Any joke that touches your dignity or makes you the target of humiliation in front of others is not a joke. It's disrespect disguised as humor. And it's a test. They're testing how far they can go with you. And every time you stay silent, or worse, laugh along, you're giving them permission, an official green light to keep crossing your boundaries whenever they feel like it. You don't need to start a fight or create drama. It's much simpler than that. A sharp look, a quiet pause, 5 seconds of silence while you look at them calmly, or a firm, cold response like, "Honestly, that joke isn't funny to me. Let's not repeat it again." That one sentence is enough to reset the entire room. It sends a clear message. You are not a target for entertainment. You are not available for disrespect. People treat you exactly the way you allow them to treat you. If you don't draw a clear line, they will assume you are the soft wall they can lean on and push whenever they want. The final habit, and maybe the most dangerous one, is when you constantly mock yourself, thinking it makes you humble, funny, or likable. You sit with people and say things like, "I've always been unlucky. I'm so stupid in these things. I'm ugly anyway. No one would look at me. Everything I start ends badly." You think you're being funny, or breaking the ice, or showing humility, but psychologically, you're doing something far more dangerous. Your subconscious mind doesn't understand jokes. It doesn't know sarcasm. It only absorbs repetition as truth. And when people constantly hear you degrading yourself, they slowly start believing it too. They begin to think, if he says this about himself, maybe it's true. And just like that, your image is no longer shaped by your actions, but by your own words about yourself. True humility is not self-destruction. It's not erasing your value, and it's definitely not turning yourself into a joke. A clown in a circus can make everyone laugh, but no one respects him outside the stage.
Of course, you can still be funny. You can make people laugh with real situations from life, or smart, witty observations about everyday moments. But there's a huge difference between being funny and making yourself the joke. Never turn yourself into the punchline. Respect yourself in your words, in how you talk about yourself in front of others, and even in your private thoughts. Because if you don't respect yourself first, you should never expect a stranger to elevate your value. In the end, dignity is not about picking fights or getting aggressive with everyone around you, and it's not about acting superior or looking down on others either. Real dignity is something much deeper. It's knowing your worth clearly, setting healthy, calm boundaries, and shutting the door on anything or anyone that disrespects you, even if they are close to you. Dignity means refusing to be second place, refusing to be always available, and refusing to be someone people joke at or step over. These 6 habits, if you truly understand them and start changing them, will completely transform how people see you. You'll notice a shift. Respect will grow, presence will strengthen, even a kind of quiet awe will appear in how people treat you. But more importantly than anything else, your relationship with yourself will change. Your confidence will come back, your inner strength will rebuild, and your self-respect will rise again. If this video touched you in any way,
or reminded you of something you've experienced before, write it in the comments below. I want to hear your honest thoughts. And tell me, be real with yourself. Which of these 6 habits did you realize you've been doing and decided to stop starting today? Would you like me to make a second part focusing on how to respond to hidden disrespect, or how to build strong charisma and a dominant presence anywhere you go? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one.